Hey there, thanks for watching. Welcome to my June spending review. So I'll say at the beginning that the unexpected expenses for June were few but huge, and I'll get more into that when I share my numbers. But I also want to say that the only reason that I make these videos is to share my story and let you know what's going on with me so that you know that you are not alone, whatever your financial situation. Unexpected expenses come up and you just deal with them when they come up. Try to plan for them in the future and adjust accordingly. So that is what I have for you in this video. So if you're interested in seeing what those unexpected expenses were and just kind of how I'm doing overall with my spending for June, then just keep watching. Here is my budget spreadsheet that I use. There's a link to this in my Etsy store if you are interested in using this sheet. There's nothing special about this sheet other than it has a ton of formulas that kind of help calculate out my overall spending. So if you're interested in that, you can take a look at that in my Etsy shop. There's nothing special about this again, but magic is not in the spreadsheet. The magic is in the action of tracking your spending against your income and making moves that support your goals, which did not happen for me this month at all. So looking at what did happen, and I'll kind of give you an overview and kind of set up for the month. So I knew this month that we would be going on kind of a last minute vacation. My sister's husband was set to go back to work at the end of the month and wouldn't probably be able to take time off for the next 6 months. So we knew that it was kind of now or never. So we all decided that it would be a good thing to take a vacation, which we had done we have done for the past 2 years, but both times it was kind of spontaneous. So I think after the third year, we're like, okay, maybe we can plan for this a little bit better because we had absolutely no warning. Other than that, I separate my expenses out into variable expenses, meaning things that I can control. So we have my daily spending and then my fixed costs. Fixed costs for the most part don't vary. There are things like utility bills, phone bills, savings, anything that comes out automatically, and that goes under the fixed costs tab. And this enter here tab is for my variable expenses, and those I pull over into the summary tab. Right here you can see I have these 12 categories, and they'll kind of lay out everything that I've spent in those 12 categories over the month. Then I'll pull in that total here, and then the grand total is the variable costs plus the fixed costs, which are down here. And the reason I do this as opposed to something like a mint.com or an every dollar budget is just because it's easier for me to track. I will from time to time balance this against my bank statements to make sure that I'm not leaving anything out, and often I am. But for me, it's just easier for me to categorize using this spreadsheet. So let's move right on. And I'll show you sort of what I tried to do for this month planning. I had budgeted about $900 because the plan was to head down to North Carolina, which is about a 9-hour drive from me. And so I budgeted for gas, groceries, food, clothing, and then we were gonna split an Airbnb. And then when we got there, the Airbnb ended up having bugs all over it. So that was not fun. We ended up having to check into a hotel kind of very last minute. And I ended up paying for 2 rooms, one for myself and my husband, and then one for my mom. And that was a big old $1,900 hit, $1,960 hit. So that was completely unexpected. And as you can see, based on what I planned, because I did not plan for a hotel, against what we actually spent, there's about a 200% difference. So let's start at the top. We can kind of go through. You can see my spending right here, and gas was certainly, it was a hit, but it wasn't the biggest hit. So if I move over to, I'll show you my fixed costs, kind of what I'm paying right now. These are utility bills, health memberships, and phone bills, and then automatic savings. And then the summary for June, which we'll go through. So for business, I spent $377, excuse me, and that was due to a business dinner that I had at the beginning of the month. For clothing, I spent $65, and that was to get sort of some summer essentials that I had been putting off purchasing for a while. Food out was $4.23, which you can see is a little bit more than what I typically spend, but not too much. You can see the other months up here. Gifts was nothing. Groceries was actually a little bit lower than what I typically spend, which makes sense. We did stop at the grocery store. That's how we ate when we were out, even in the hotel. Which is also a little bit more challenging. In the hotel, we did have a microwave and a fridge in our room, thank goodness, and they fed us breakfast every morning, which was lovely, but we still kind of try to go to the grocery store when we can. Went on vacation, then we were traveling the rest of the time. For health, I spent $29, and that was for some allergy medication. For household, I spent $140, and that was for some household essentials. Made a stop to Costco today, and that's just how I track it. It's, you know, it ends up with a dollar sign, but I can not take that out. Okay. For personal care, that was $25. And again, that was for some sunscreen, which could have been included in health as well. Transportation was $37. And that was again on gas, which I actually don't think is that bad at all. I think we made a really good, gas mileage. We rented a car, and the car had fairly good gas mileage for what it was. It was a big old SUV. It was I want to say Traverse, Chevy Traverse. We rented a car, and it got great gas mileage. And then there's that travel expense right in there, and that's the hotel plus tax, I believe. And so you see my grand total right there is $3,771, and that's just for variable expenses, meaning things that I more or less had control over. Combined with my fixed costs, that's the number we're looking at, and there's a 5 in front of it for a monthly spending, which is tough because that's about 40% more than my monthly take home. Maybe a little bit less, maybe 30% more, but it's still way more than I had anticipated. So it was a hit. Other alternatives. Could we not have gone on that vacation? Sure. Do I regret that? Not at all, because time with family, especially because my sister lives so far away. She lives in Tennessee, and I very rarely get to see her. So it was great to see her and her family together. So in the long run, do I regret it? No. Again, is it a hit? Oh yeah. Is it going to take some time to recover? Yeah, for sure. So that's just where we are at this point in our journey. That's where I am. And that's kind of where we are going forward. Would a sinking fund help? Sure. Very well-meaning person left a comment saying, why don't you try sinking funds? They let you enjoy life without going into debt. And I'm like, yeah, you have to have enough money coming in to put in a sinking fund. Kind of gives me a sinking feeling. I do have a sinking fund for car insurance, and that is about $130 a month that comes out because my car insurance payment is every 6 months. So yes, that one sinking fund does really well for me. Right now, my main focus is to get my income up because that's the biggest challenge right now. I think that kind of knowing where the money is going is really helpful and gives me a sense of, say, security. It's very helpful. It's also a little bit sobering is the word that I would use, but you live and learn. All right, so that's what I've got for you. That's my June spending. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this gives you an idea of either how to set up your spending tracking, or if you're currently in a similar situation, I hope this helps you feel a little bit better. So that's what I have. And thank you as always for watching, and I hope you'll keep watching. Bye.